Yo, what is going on, folks? Talk to me nice. I gotta get a little countdown going on this page, man. I was trying to do something real quick. That way, for everybody who's like waiting sometime or whatever, I can have a little something on the screen to entertain you, for lack of a better term. But like I say, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me right about now, and I appreciate that. And you guys already know, you see what's on the screen here. We're going to jump into this here shortly. But first, we got to cover the housekeeping rules. I'm going to give some shout outs here. So make sure you guys are checking in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Feel free to do that. Age, sex, location, gender, whatever makes you feel good. We fellowshipping up in here tonight. This is something that, hit the press a few hours ago, and I think a lot of people can relate. It's a lot of this going on, and there's a few different things involved in this case, this being a high profile case. And people are going to go to the obvious, which we'll also discuss that obvious issue of why he may have been convicted, and that whole term, dealing with certain folks. But it's definitely an interesting one, and something that men of a certain age should be like, yo, I'm not even getting into that, man. But anyway, guys, as usual, this is a live stream. I'm broadcasting live on both Facebook and YouTube. If you're on Facebook and you like to call in, it should be pinned in the description. You know what I'm saying? Or excuse me, in the comments. Also, if you're on YouTube, it's pinned in blue in the chat as well. Feel free to call in with your thoughts on this. Be glad to hear from you. Glad to fellowship in reference to that. And if you want me to read your comments, make sure you super chat. I see you up in here. If you guys would like to sponsor this video, it starts at $10. So you can go ahead and drop that, and we'll go ahead and get your information up on the screen. Shout out to my moderator, Enos, with the $1.99 super chat so far. LOL, I swear this man can't catch a break. I mean, at some point you gotta do better, bro. You gotta be aware of stuff like this. So shout out to Enos. Shout out to Gloria Rivera, Steve, Big Girl Diary. I guess that's it. You're not that's it. Shout out to y'all. Anyway, Jonathan Majors. That's what we're talking about this evening. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Jonathan Majors, he was one of the upcoming rising black actors. Definitely was doing work, putting in work in Creed 2. He's supposed to be the next big villain in the MCU as Kang. He also was in Lovecraft on HBO, which was a show that did pretty well that they didn't continue. Buddy was, he had it. I mean, the carpet, everything was, he was in the driver's seat. You know what I'm saying? He was basically, he was that dude. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, when you deal with certain things, I believe Buddy's like 34 years old. Things like this that happen, I'm not saying there's an age limit, but when you get to a certain point, either you need to have mentors in place because you got a lot to lose. Me personally, I've been so afraid of getting in trouble. Like throughout my life, I always tried to walk the straight and narrow, because anything I've ever done in life, people told on me. I've always got told on. I always got snitched on. People couldn't wait. They would stand in line to tell on me. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to women, I don't take any chances. It can happen to anybody. I'm not saying with a woman, what she says goes for the most part. But Buddy, this has been you got recorded conversations and all this stuff, and you getting this girl, and obviously, this has been an abusive relationship for quite some time. with this young lady, and bro, you're that dude. You're that dude, right? And I'm gonna play the audio for those of you, and I'm gonna play the videos for those of you who haven't seen it. Um, in reference to Buddy running, because people were like, how can he be convicted and he was the one running? You would run. You would run too if you know you did something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't. But when you are at a certain level, fellas, even if you making even if you making like $14 an hour, and you just made it to that point, you should not be. This dude's a multimillionaire. You had a multi-million-dollar deal for the MCU. You should not be putting any kind of hands on anybody. You know what I'm saying? If I was a celebrity, I would have cameras on at all times. I'd be like, bro, I want cameras on. There'd be cameras in my apartment. There'd be cameras in my house. There'd be cameras everywhere. Because if you clapping some cheeks, you want the cameras rolling. You know what I'm saying? And it's your house at the end of the day. You can do whatever you want in your house. People say, well, JR, you need to. No, that's if you distribute that said footage, that video footage and things like that. You can record. And I know I'm going to have somebody in here. No, JR, you can't run cameras you can't record people without their consent. This is my house. I can do whatever I want in my house. You know what I'm saying? As long as I'm not breaking the law in that aspect, but I can have recording devices in my home, man. Come on. So basically it's going to be inadmissible if I decide to record whatever happens in my house. Oh, he wasn't supposed to record her. So that's not going to be admissible. Man, get out of here, man. This dude was talking crazy. You dealing with you could have, I don't know, man. I don't get it. Because at a certain age, I understand when you're in your 20s and you do dumb stuff, even as a teenager, when you get rich, when you get successful. That's why I think for some people, you don't get successful till later on in life. That way you don't make those, you go through the BS. But when you're in your mid 30s, bro, which I think he's about 34, 35, if I'm not mistaken. When you're in your mid 30s, you cannot be doing stuff like this, man. You know what I mean? So humility comes into play. I try to mitigate any type of situations, man. I don't want no problems. I like my money. Any woman I gotta argue with, you know what I'm saying? Any woman that I have, what's funny? I'm gonna say I see Altina Washington. I was gonna get to that. He's gonna be a Tubi movie star from now on. He's basically gonna turn into what Columbus Short and Isaiah Washington became. If y'all don't remember those names, I'll go into detail about that. But Columbus Short and Isaiah Washington, two great actors that basically, Isaiah Washington wasn't necessarily a domestic situation. It was something he said, you know what I mean? In terms of, whatever. But when it comes to you getting a woman, whatever, you putting your hands on a woman or a woman making false allegations or whatever, can completely destroy your career. And I know, who knows if Megan's going to hang around, but he probably going to be the A-lister on Tubi movies. You know what I'm saying? At this point, because, unless he works with Tyler Perry Studios, and I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. You know what I mean? But if you want to continue acting and things like that, you just going to have to go those routes and let your people build you back up. You know what I mean? Because it's going to go to the whole situation of, you got snow bunnied. You should have never dealt with a white woman. If you was with a black woman wouldn't have done this to you. She would have kept it on the low, whatever, so on and so forth. Which that is a common, that's a common thing that is said, or a thought process is that black women don't automatically run to call the police on you if something like this happens, a domestic dispute or whatever. But obviously this woman, in a case of, assault or CDV case, just because a woman decides not to testify doesn't mean that the prosecutor or the DA won't move forward in prosecution. They can move forward without the witness. I mean, that's just one of those things. They can just because she decides not to testify or whatever, they can still do that. They can still move forward. In this case, obviously, he's a high profile figure. This is a slam dunk for this guy, whoever the DA was. I heard that he has supposedly, they said he goes after black men or whatever. And in the last, I forgot the gentleman. Y'all could probably think of his name. There was another gentleman he went after before over some allegations, and Buddy got found. Either they dismissed it or he got found not guilty. You know what I'm saying? So, how many we got up in here? How many likes we got in here? 32 likes. We need 100 likes up in here, man. Y'all acting stingy. It's 60 something people. At least I think it is. Yeah, 60 people in here, should be 60 likes. If you're on Facebook, hit that like button. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that like button. Stop being stingy. Sheesh. I don't care about Juicy Smollett. Juicy Smollett, that was just dumb. Not to say that Buddy right here couldn't have prevented it. Juicy Smollett, that was just stupid. That's why I firmly believe, like, some people, you can have a mentor in your life, but somebody would say, if I'm arguing, and maybe he might not have been telling the homeboy, hey man, you arguing with a girl, you arguing with a chick, you don't need that in your life, bro. You don't need that in your life. Go ahead and cut her off at this point. You know what I mean? Because that same type of arguing can turn into something else. But let me go ahead and share this screen and play some stuff here. So we on Instagram right now. Buddy got, I think he was 6 counts, I believe he was facing, which we'll get into here. He fixed his screen. I'm just playing with the screen right here, guys. So I'm gonna make myself smaller. But Buddy, Grace Jabari. So this was the audio in reference to, him wanting her to be like Coretta Scott King and all this stuff like that. And, I'm going to be on a new level. You need to be supporting me and stuff. But let's get into it. Let's play some of this.
When we have a plan, I would like to get to the point where your friends know what job I'm on and go, I think Grace is going to be out of commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I won't.
No, you understand that? Because that team, that unit, right? Grace has to be in a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is?
Wow.
That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife.
I know, I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm
no,
sorry.
Let me just lay it out for you, right?
British?
This is period. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Do you really know, baby? Do you really?
Yes.
Then how dare you come home drunk and disturb the peace of our house when we have a plan? I would like to get to the point.
Do y'all hear
your
echo?
Friends know what job I'm on and go, I think Grace is gonna be out of commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I won't.
No, you understand that? Because that team, that unit, right? Grace has to be in a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is?
You said there's
Martin Luther King's
echo?
wife. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife.
I know, I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm
No,
sorry.
let me just lay it out for you, right? This is period. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Do you really know, baby? Do you really?
Yes.
Then how dare you come home drunk and disturb the peace of our house? If I'm just gonna say this. My temper, my shit, my trauma, blah, all that said, right? I'm not saying I'm a great man. A great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. That's real. I'm not being a dick about it. I didn't ask for it. I've worked, and that's the situation. The woman that supports me that I support, that needs to be a great woman and make sacrifices the way that man is making for her and for them ultimately. If I'm just gonna say this, my temper, my shit, my trauma, blah, all that.
The behavior allegedly went over the edge before Majors was arrested on March 25th after a domestic dispute with Jabari. Prosecutors accused Majors of launching into an attack around midnight in the back of a Cadillac Escalade after Jabari discovered flirtatious text messages on his phone from a woman named Cleopatra. She's working at the pyramid tonight. It's alleged that Majors broke Jabari's middle finger, twisted her right forearm, and struck her ear, which became bloodied. The two are returning to Major's Chelsea trip. Can y'all hear me? I was sitting here talking. I don't know if I had it on mute or not. The two were returning to Major's Chelsea triplex apartment from dinner at Walters in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. According to Chowdhury, after Majors allegedly fled the scene when the vehicle pulled over, Jabari chased him on foot through traffic like in a movie. When she couldn't find him, Chowdhury claims that Jabari spent a few hours at a Manhattan nightclub with 3 strangers she had met. Girlfriend per a surprising turn came when... Did I skip one just now? Okay. Manhattan nightclub with 3 strangers she had met that evening. Girlfriend per Business Insider, a surprising turn came when Perez said that Majors demanded total compliance from Jabari and allegedly wanted her to act similarly to late civil rights activist and author Coretta Scott King or former First Lady of the United States Michelle Obama by making sacrifices for him. Perez went on to paint Majors as having a cruel and manipulative pattern of psychological abuse towards Jabari during their 2-year relationship. Says that if his needs weren't met, the actor would become angry, shouting at Jabari or throwing household objects at her. Per the Associated Press, similar claims were made in a Rolling Stone expose from June, where Major's former classmates at Yale University, as well as film set employees, said the actor had a violent streak. So, I know y'all couldn't see that, but I was just reading off it. My thing is, what I'm taking from this, man, this dude's not good with women. And I know you could say, well, JR, you could say that about anybody. This dude's not good with women. First of all, a conversation like that is had up front. You don't have to keep telling a woman that. Whatever, you need to be more like Coretta Scott King. You disturbing the peace, coming in the crib, coming in late, drunk, so on and so forth. You need to be supporting me. I'm a great man. You should never have to tell a woman any of this. Academics, I believe Academics did a video like that one time where he told a woman he's the prize. You don't have to tell a woman any of that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, I know this dude isn't good with, he doesn't, you fighting with a woman. First of all, if you got to fight with a woman, you shouldn't be with a woman. If you got to argue with a woman, you should, especially when you make it to a certain level. Either you're compliant or you're not. Either you're intuitive to know, like, hey, this dude's a big deal. This dude's in movies. I could see if he's an a-hole, whatever like that, then you don't need to be with him. But if she isn't compliant, she's not listening to you, she's not getting on your program, why are you dealing with her? You know what I'm saying? You getting caught in traffic. I don't know, man. I just even over $1,000, I'd be like, yo, you gotta go. Over $500. I'm like, you trying to stop me from making $500? You gotta go. And you can say, well, JR, you're petty, $500. Yes, if you're trying to stop me from making $500, you got to get out of my life. Well, it can't be tolerated. Like at this point, this is like the stupidest stuff. Like I just be seeing grown men just doing stupid stuff like this. So we will get into this footage here, man. I'll pull up this footage here from let me go back to this thing. They got some which is from a distance when they show him running and all this stuff like that. But I wonder sometimes, between agents, managers, and I know stuff keeps happening. You do have, not all dudes are doing this, but you have agents, you have managers, you have all these different people, your father. There's nobody saying, like, man, you can pay me. I only charge $50 for 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You can pay me $100, man. I could save your life. JR, you're being arrogant. I'm just saying, man. I tell you, like, I don't know. I feel like it's like bots, and it's like the Matrix, where everybody has to mess with the same women. Everybody has to date the same type of woman. And I don't know. Maybe the dude struggled a lot of his life to get buns, and as soon as he started getting these chances, he got him a bunny right off the rip 2 years ago. I don't know. Is she British, or where is she from? I haven't looked her up. Her accent. That was my first time watching that video, so I don't even know if she's British, Australian, from New Zealand, whatever have you. But or maybe she's American. I just thought her accent sounded kind of whatever. But when you got stuff like that going on, it just boggles my mind. I'm broke right now, and I'm 40 years old. I just don't have the time for it. Either you're gonna see what I do and be like, okay, I can compliment that, or I'm just gonna, or you have the mindset, I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in this stuff. Cause I'm cool, I'm laid back. I don't put the beaters on, women. I don't it's just either you're gonna get on the program or you're not. You need to be like Coretta Scott King. That girl don't know nothing about that, especially if she's not from this country. Does anybody know? Y'all usually so vocal in the chat. 80 people in here need to have 80 likes. What's up, man? Come on, bro. Y'all acting stingy. Hit that like button right now before you play these clips. Hey, somebody get this troll from up out of here. I had to refresh. It doesn't update the likes like it used to. 63. We got 80 people in here, man. It needs to be 80 likes. Hit that like button. It's free. All right, let's go. Yeah, I'm taking calls. You could just be in the queue. You call in, just be in the queue. I am taking calls. You know what I'm saying? It's pinned in blue. You'll just be in the queue backstage if you want to call in and give your thoughts on the topic. The call lines are open. All right, let's get this going. So this is the part I just narrated just now, where they stop in traffic. You can see right there, but he's striking out right there. You got some, oh, yeah, you cannot. Yeah, you was closing in on you. How many blocks did y'all run? Mark. Well, she's still going. She said downtown NYC because she's from the Bronx, huh? Mm-mm. Man, Buddy got low, didn't he? My bad, I had it on mute. I said, this is a cold world right there. She was putting on a better act than he was. Man, you know, and I see you, Altina. I'll bring you on here shortly. You see, they had a clip showing, after he was convicted, he had a jury of 9, and he was convicted of 2 counts, 1 harassment and 1 assault, right? I think he was facing 4 counts, and bro, you can say this is America, this is that. I mean, you can say that all day long, bro. If that would have been a black woman, I'm pretty sure the same thing would have happened. She probably wouldn't have, done the same thing unless, at the end of the day, and it seems like this girl wasn't trying to take a check from you, who knows what happened in terms of this, but she went through with it. She testified, all that, regardless of them saying her being charged, because I think she was arrested and charged with some stuff. But hey, man, anxious to see what happens. But let's bring on the first caller here. Let's see what we got. Good evening. Is it Altina?
It is. Good evening, JR. I feel like I'm talking to the next best thing to Kevin Samuels made, the Godfather, rest in peace, because I always listen to him and then you and then O'Shea. So I feel honored to be talking to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm not quite there, but I appreciate the sentiment. Where are you calling in from this evening?
I am calling in from Georgia.
Where at?
I'm in Evans, Georgia, which is a not
Where?
really popular. It's called Evans, Georgia. We're about a few miles from South Carolina,
Oh yeah.
by way of Los Angeles. I wasn't born and raised here.
Got you. Got you. So that's what part you say? How? What part of South Carolina?
We're close to North Augusta, South
Okay, I
Carolina.
was going to ask you Augusta because usually people either close to Savannah or Augusta, one of the two they'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I live
Yeah.
in South Carolina, so I got
Oh,
you.
do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I live in Charleston. You know.
Oh, my mother was born and raised there. Okay.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So with
Cool.
that being said, what do you think about this situation here with Mr. Majors?
Well, I tell you, there's two parts of me. Of course, as a black woman in our culture, anytime something happens, the first thing we say when something happens was the person white or black. So
Mm-hmm.
we have that feeling of our community first.
Right.
Big, you know, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But then, as a female, as a mother of grown women and a mother of a 36-year-old black man too, and then when I hear that woman's voice and how he was talking to her and her responses, it sounds like it's been a lot of continual abuse in their
Right.
relationship. She said she sounds so scared. And even when he talked about her being like Coretta Scott, Michelle Obama, when I heard that, what I heard was he was putting himself in this grandiose
Right.
position of I am as good and as remarkable as they are. So this
Right.
is what you should be for me. Um, so that right, those are so many different dynamics stirred into this pot, but it's really unfortunate for both of them. Um, and even I mentioned in the comments, thinking about my girl Megan, I'm just like, uh, no, step away, because I haven't heard anyone support him, not even any of his family members, unless I've
Right.
missed it. No one has stood up and said anything. Normally, what that says to me, with my background in PR, is that people know something about
Right.
you and your history,
Right.
so they're not going to touch it.
He probably either he cut his family off too. But go ahead. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
So I mean, it says a lot, and it's unfortunate. And I don't think I would hope that he can recover, but I don't think it's going to be likely that he will, because we're such in a huge cancel culture as it is with people, and for you
Yeah.
to be pulled down for Marvel, yeah, I
Do you
don't think
think
it's
this
going
has
to.
anything to do with race? Let's just get the elephant. Let's just address the elephant in the room.
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the reason why I say of course it does is because we know that most white America don't want to see a black man with a white woman. So this is even a greater reason to castrate the black man and say, see, this is why we don't want you with with our women. You just beat them. You do this. You
Mm,
do that. You are in. You are this. You are that. That. It's going to always come back to race because of the fact that he is a black man. Even if he
mhm.
would have been, I really think even if they would have not charged him with anything, he would still be looked upon as this big, hostile, angry, nostril flaring Negro
Mm,
that should have stayed on the other side of the fence.
mm. So if this was your son, what would you have told him in this situation? Because I'm assuming, like I said once again, there's a clip which I don't, I'll probably look for it here shortly, where
Mhm.
they said a family member of his, they asked when they saw them walking out of the courtroom, what do you think about this situation? And the man said, "This is America." So if this was your son, which I'm assuming you would be in communication with your son about the
Mhm.
difficulties he may be having with his woman, trying to make her Coretta Scott King. She's not listening to me. I'm about to be the next Denzel, or
Yeah.
action star. What would you have told your son in that situation?
Um,
You have a 36-year-old son, so he's around the same age.
right. And
Kind
he's
of,
single.
yeah.
So we have conversations about dating and women often. Um, I have to tell you, as sad as it may seem, I have not and will not encourage my son to date outside of his race. And let me clarify this when I say this. When we moved to the South, my son was 16. He's 20 now. And we came from Los Angeles, so the vibe was different here. And my son is your complexion. He has green eyes.
No, say that again, because I'm confused. You said you have another son that's 20?
No. When we moved here 20 years ago, my son was 16.
And you said he's 20 now. That's why I was kind of confused.
No, my bad. We've been here 20 years now.
Got you. Okay. Yeah.
So he's experienced some things that if we were still in Los Angeles, it probably wouldn't have been a big concern if we would have stayed in Los Angeles. And he grew into a man that he has here in Georgia.
Right.
But from what I've seen, I wouldn't have recommended, people choose who they choose, but I only have one son.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want my son's life jeopardized because of dating outside his race. And that's just the truth.
So there's a direct correlation is what you're saying.
I do believe it is. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, let's just say he followed down the same path as Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
He's in communication and he's like, he finally made it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he finally made it, and he's like, Mom, I got this new girlfriend out here. I'm in New York now.
Mm-hmm.
She's a bunny.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I already know how you think about it, but then he comes back probably within the next few months and is like, I'm having these issues with her. She's not getting on my program. She's not listening. I have a short temper, right, or whatever. What would you say to him? That's what I guess I should have rephrased it like that.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah,
I would have told him to immediately get out of that situation. And based upon that whole Coretta Scott thing, I would have been really concerned about his mental health.
Right.
And question myself as a mother to say, hey, what happened? But more than anything, I would be supporting him and encouraging him to get some type of help, because that just sounds, even if my own son, like you said that to me, I would feel like there's something wrong. I mean, there's been times I've told my son I didn't feel like he needed to be in a relationship,
right,
for certain whatever reasons, if he came out of a long breakup or something like that. My husband usually handles that side of the conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, as you were talking, I mean, I was thinking that, but I mean, just as a mother in the situation,
Yeah, but as a mother, it concerns me that I didn't see or hear any family speak out on his behalf.
Yeah.
That's concerning for me, because even that guy that went to jail for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in her foot, even his daddy was like, yeah. So, I mean, that's just what we do. And when we don't do that, it speaks loudly. When we're quiet, it speaks volumes.
Silence is deafening. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do have a point, because I think we did that. That was one of the things we noticed. Besides his girlfriend, Megan Good was the only one that really came to his defense in this situation. So yeah, that does. And Tori had tons of support in the situation, and yeah. Man.
Megan, she's a better woman than me, honey, because everything is alleged until it's proven. But as women, we go in and out on intuition. We choose when we want to be intuitive, because right. I don't care what any woman says. I am a 58-year-old woman. I've been there, done that, got the hat, t-shirt, bag, and some red bottoms to match. Mm-hmm. We know who we're with. We know what we're with. We know.
I'm glad you said that. There's it's conditional intuition. I'm glad you said that, because I feel the exact same way. It's women's intuition is conditional. Intuition is definitely conditional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On the package, but yeah, mm-hmm. that is something, but I feel like he's going to be if somebody gives him a chance, they might you know, a Tyler Perry or somebody like that might pick him up, but it's when you got Marvel dropping you and you're like the next big date, you got to think the millions that they've spent planning this, which I don't know how familiar you are with the King, this whole King dynasty, but I know you know the Avengers is a big thing.
Right, right.
Yeah. So he was supposed to be the next Thanos.
Yeah,
That was who he was supposed to be.
yeah.
And yeah,
And you know,
it's
quiet as it's kept, you know, you mentioned Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry never brought Isaiah Washington back, though, did he? Or Mr.
no.
Smollett? I mean, you know, he has a brand. People that he's brought back are from what I've witnessed are people that have done great work in that profession, and he's bringing them back to kind of help them get their careers back, like how he helped Cicely Tyson, the lady that used to be on The Heat of the Night. His brand, I mean, he usually doesn't bring people in from what I've seen unless he does something different. You know,
Right.
Tubi might be his best bet.
Cold world. Got you. I appreciate the information. Anything? Well, your outlook on things. Anything else you wanted to add, Miss Washington Key?
No, sir. I appreciate you. I feel honored that I was allowed to have this dialogue with you and keep doing the amazing work that you're doing.
Oh, thank you. And you have a great night and be healthy and blessed as well. Peace and blessings.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yes, ma'am. Good night.
Good night.
Shout out to Miss Washington Key or Key. What was it? Washington Key? Key Washington? I don't want to mess. I just forgot it just that quick. Altina. Yeah, Washington Key. Shout out, man. Where we at with the lags? Let me refresh this because this thing doesn't update. 10 more. We got 10 more before we hit 100. Did my mods disappear in the chat? Man. At 90. Yeah, I don't know. Is this about race? Do you guys think this was about race? Was this racially charged? Do you think race had to do with him being convicted? Or was Jonathan just a POS? Somebody said, will he still love white women? You know, that's what there was, you know, that when you said that made me think about or just the whole situation with Megan Good made me think about when Michael Jackson, you know, was, you know, facing all those charges and, you know, having to do all those court appearances and whatnot before he settled it and everything. When the Fruit of Islam, when he wasn't he rolling with Minister Farrakhan at one point? Wasn't he doing that? Michael Jackson had surrounded himself by the brothers, you know what I'm saying, at one point when he got in all that trouble. You know what I'm saying? So Jonathan, you know, I guess they said, you know, for PR purposes, maybe. Race is no doubt a factor. Robert Downey Jr. bounced back and became Iron Man. Do you honestly see Jonathan Majors matching or surpassing that? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just remembered Robert Downey just kept getting caught, you know, getting hit for drugs, though. I don't know if he ever put the beaters on a woman, did he? I mean, he might have. I know there's several, you know, dudes that did all types of stuff that got their career back. But Robert Downey Jr. is a white man at the end of the day. I mean, and you can put stuff in, not to say that some white dudes' careers won't be over with, but Robert Downey Jr. comes from a famous, like, his father was an actor and a director, right? If I'm not mistaken. So Robert Downey, when you're in the business, sometimes you get multiple chances because you're in the business and your family already has connections. You know, Jonathan Majors is like, you know, he just came out of nowhere. You know, Robert Downey Jr. had connections, and with his father being a actor, director, whatever it was, you know, you got people that know you. You got people that, you know, that can do favors. It don't matter how, you know. And drugs is looked at as a disease when in addiction. And addiction is looked at it is a disease, right? Technically, addiction. So dude kept getting hit with that, and that's what it was looked at as. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna bring on the next caller here. Johnny B, what you doing on? You having a coughing attack? What's going on over there?
Oh no, man! I didn't know you had clicked me on so quick. I know you said be ready, man, but I was trying to get some light, bro. I don't want you to let me give me 1 second. There we go.
That's cool, man. You don't gotta. You can that's fine, man. As long as you ain't trying to pull nothing funny. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, we straight, man.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to tell you, man, that I've been following you probably since the beginning of the year. I reside here in South Cac too. I retired here out the military. Columbia, Blackwood.
Oh, Blackwood, yeah. So you retired up there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But going back to like the young lady that just got off, Miss Washington. Yeah, man. This is to answer your question. Is it racially motivated? It is, bro. It is. It's hands down. It's nothing to think about. If you go back to like you saying, like think about a lot of our black leaders. I'm 50 years old, by the way. So I've been around for a little bit, half a century. I'm happy about it. But I've seen a lot, and a lot of our black leaders, especially back in the day, when they got too strong, basically were taken out. Black Panthers. MLK.
It's called the Messiah. It's called the Black Messiah complex. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, and like my man, I hate that Jonathan Majors going through this right here because that dude was moving. He was moving. His career was moving. I mean, come on. He was there. He was sitting on the mountaintop with more to go. And all of a sudden, because of this one woman, and then they got everything on film. Everything's on film. What victim chases the aggressor? I mean, this dude was clearly on the move, and she hit the treadmill too, because she was moving too. She was trying to keep up with him, And but I mean, even with these physical video facts, and then there's other people, that been filmed, like my man George Floyd. He was filmed and got murked. The guy with the cigarettes that was up in New York or somewhere, the big guy that got, he was selling Lucy. So even when you got stuff on video, there's still a certain power that's gonna be like, well, hey, we either gonna make you or break you, or we could put you in this situation. I think another thing about it is also, I mean, I get it. Maybe because of the type of status they own, the money they make, they're around a whole different crowd that, anyone that's making less than them will not understand.
Right.
However, I hate when I see brothers get put in this situation, man. And it can happen to any one of us. You don't have to have money for that to happen to you. It can happen to any one of us. And it's and everyone, at least anyone in our culture, should feel some kind of way, especially as a black man, because hey, we up against the wall the day we come out the womb, man. We're up against the wall every day we come out the womb, or ever since we came out the womb. And I know myself, I've been around the world, several times. I've lived amongst other cultures, and believe it or not, it's worse here for me than the experiences I have experienced, living in other countries. I've been through Europe. I went to Europe at 12 years old. My old man was in the military. It runs in my family, and I grew up fast, but came back with a different mindset because I was in a different culture. But when you come back over here, it's like it's turned up. It's turned up, and it don't matter if you like I said, you could be a movie star, you can be a service member, you can be a first responder, you can be a doctor. At the end of the day, man, if somebody want to put an asterisk by your name, Eddie Griffin said it best when they hit Bill Cosby up. He said, no matter what, if you're successful and you up to that level like Bill Cosby or whatnot, or Michael Jackson, Prince, these dudes are gonna do something to try to put an asterisk by your name to make you look bad before you, even if you're gone, they'll still try to tarnish you in some kind of way. And that's just the way it is. I mean, race, yes, it is, man. Let's call it what it is. This is the most racist country I ever been in. And I've been in some European countries where I didn't get this kind of treatment. You know, I'm not saying that I've never seen racism in other countries, but you can't compare it to here. You cannot compare it to here. It might be a every now and again thing about, you know, whatever, but it's not too often as far as living here at home, man. You know, and that's how I feel about it. It's definitely racism, man. You would think we should have got past this by now, but it's not happening because as long as people are still preaching that poison into their kids and trying to hang on to the old ways as long as they can, it's going to be that way. And I got a 9-year-old son, you know, man, what worries me the most is the fact because me, honestly, I never wanted to have any kids. I never wanted to be married because at the age of around 12, 13, 14, came back to the States, I made my mind up that, man, I don't want to have no kids in this world because I feel a certain way. Now I got to worry about my kids. Now, you know, I'm a married man now. Now I got to worry about my whole family. You know, these things constantly stay through my mind, not to the point that I can't go to sleep, but it does. I definitely wake up with that on my head every day or every night, depending on when I feel like getting up, you know? And, but yeah, man, that's all I got to say about it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I always enjoyed the show. And actually, I'm going to be down your way in probably about this weekend. I got a couple of people down there in Somerville and in Charleston down there and everything. So, you know, but yeah, bro, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak. You know, I love your show. Keep doing what you're doing and stay blessed, man.
Yeah. Quick question though. Were you aware that, do you think that this was something that he could have foresaw coming? Or that it would have eventually came to this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like when you move up the ranks like that and in that type of lifestyle, I'm sure there's been people kind of pulling his coattail like, hey man, be careful of this, be careful of that. You know, watch out for this, watch out for that. It might be people who've been in the industry much longer than he has been. You know, for all I know, it could have been someone also could have knew something about that woman that he was dealing with and say, hey man, be careful with her. You know, she could be funny acting. I'm sure somebody gave him some type of advice going up there, as of anyone really, because, you know, once you get to that certain level, I mean, you know what to look out for, and there's gonna be someone giving you some type of advice, and especially as a minority in this country that we live in. I'm sure someone spoke to him, whether it was a family member or maybe just a close friend. You know, like, you know, I'm just happy that even, you know, Megan Good, you know, at least stuck by him because at one point, you know, you had comments about him, but see, that's what you get for messing with the white women, this and that. And then when they found out that he was cooked up with Megan Good, then you had some sisters that were firing back like, why she gonna mess with him, this and that. I said, wait a minute now, you just dogged him about being on the opposite side. Now that he rolling with his side, they have somebody on his side that's seems sincerely like she legitimately sticking with him, and you still got a complaint. I mean, it's either or.
It's always said once you don't come running back to black women once you get in trouble, though. You know, that's what people like to say. Don't come running back to black women once you get in trouble. Well, my thing is, so there's, I think there was recordings. I can't find it here, where he told her, I guess he hit her in the head or she got a head injury or something like that. And he told her not to go to the emergency room, and you know, all types of different stuff like that. So all these things going on. What I was saying earlier is, and I'm broke. I'm not a multimillionaire by any way. You're not gonna get in the way of me making $500. You know what I'm saying? So how could I be sitting back having issues with a woman? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem with some men. Is either a scarcity mindset or they want control so bad instead of being able to release a woman and let her do her own thing. Because I shouldn't have to tell you what to do at a certain point. If you can't realize that, then if you don't compliment, why do I have to tell you to act like somebody or act like this and that? You know what I mean? And I'm having to put hands on you. And if that was the case about the whole cell phone, you looking on my phone and all this stuff like that. I mean, I just don't have time to be doing that, to be arguing, especially if I'm in a position like this. You know what I'm saying? people have been telling on me my whole life, so that's why I never really got into crime, because I always got ratted on. So I just can't put myself in a position to just be like, so as much as this is going on, I see that how people saying there's this racial aspect to it, but I think when it comes to men, when it comes to dealing with women, i.e. with that dude in what's that girl's name? The Aquila and the Bee, what's her name?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I can't get off rip.
Keke Palmer. If you're dealing with a woman that's abused, that has that's on that type of time, and he don't have much to lose, obviously, unlike her. If I'm just I just can't, and I know he fell off there. I got you, bro. You don't gotta. I know I was just talking my head off, man. So you good though. But
like that is
was that?
It's great. I hate when you see people making moves like that. Their careers are moving and everything, and just for one incident that could just take you out. This cat had all kind of things lined up, man. Hell, I was happy that he was on the Army commercial. I'm like, why are he on the Army commercial? All right, that's what's up. I was and they pulled all that stuff back, man. They put a lot of things back. Right now, I hope the brother could at least get back on top, or at least get his career back going. It may or may not be as high as it was going, but I wish nothing but the best for the brother, to be honest with you. And like I say, this could happen to any of us, whether male or female. And that's just what it is. It's a racial thing, man. And this is the world we live in right now. And I hate it. I hate it for the fact that this happens to someone. To me, it's almost I'm damn near taking it personal, because I had this done to me once again. I did 22 years in the military. I know. I used to work with them. I know certain tattoos and stuff and what they mean. And when you hit them back with that, okay, all right, they watching you. And like you said, it's like kind of like how you said with the crime example. There's always people at work, and this goes for anyone, no matter what job you got. Just always somebody watching you to try to trip you up because they feel a certain way about you, and you might not even really talk to that person like that. They know nothing about you other than I see you at work, and keep it going. But in the military, I went through it, man. I'm telling you, I see it. So it's racist across the board, man. It shouldn't be that way at this time where we at 2023, about to go into 24. Some cats don't want to let it go, man. Yeah. And but I pray that the brother at least get back to a decent level of recovery, even if he never gets back as high as he is. At least I don't want to see him be bummed out and all of a sudden, he on a corner somewhere, and then people just looking to make stories about that. Look at him, he was here. I don't want to see that man get victimized. Like, I don't want to see anybody get victimized like that, honestly. But I just hate when I see stuff like that happen, because I kind of take it personal. Not that I know him or nothing, but just the fact that it can happen to me, you, or any of us. It just ain't fair. And when you sitting in that seat, man, it's not fun on the other side. It's not. Your professional relationships are at risk. Then you got probably the rest of the world in general looking at you like, you some woman beater or something like that, or whatever. But I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he had guidance. I'm sure people pulled on his coattail a couple of times here and there and said, hey, man, be careful. But at least I hope he learned from this and move on, move on for the better versus the worse, Yeah.
Well said, man. Well, I appreciate your opinion on everything, and
yeah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for letting me on. Like I said, I know the lights was off. I was coming on the back patio to turn the light on, because my son in there watching the game right now, so he making all kind of noise. So I was trying to get out here so no background interference would be happening. But I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for calling in. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
All right, later. Shout out to that brother. Before I bring in the next caller here, hit that like button. I see we over 100 right now. Keep them going. Keep hitting the like button. If you just now entering, obviously, if you also just now entering age, sex, location, let's hear where you guys are from here. If you got an opinion on this, please feel free to call in. The blue is pinned in the chat. On this situation for sure. As far as somebody, I think he's being sentenced in February. So as far as the time goes, I mean, he's a first time offender, I'm assuming. So I mean, we'll see what happens. It'll be funny if they try to make an example of him, and give him like 6 months or something like that. But I have to look up. Somebody could probably put it in the chat how much time he could be based off those 2 charges. How much time he may be potentially be looking at. But I can't see it with a telescope, folks. I just can't see it. I can't see me arguing with you and I got this kind of money. You know what I'm saying? That arguing, you got multi-millions, you even 6 figures, man, like 30,000-40,000. My life should be peaceful as it is. You know what I mean? But I like arguing with somebody telling me, and I know I keep repeating that, but I'm just trying to hit it home for a lot of you men that think that a functional relationship is you should be arguing all the time. If a woman doesn't support you, get you another woman, or either be by yourself. I think that's a big thing that men run into is they have to tell a woman to support them. I need you to support me. That woman should be your cheerleader. She's right there when I need her. That's what she should be, man. She should be your cheerleader, man. If she's not, and the fact that you got to put the beaters and rough a woman up and stuff like that, man, that's not player. Men don't do that, man. You beat a woman. If you keep it player, you beat a woman with your mind. Or you just send her on her way. All that stuff. Nah, you getting police coming to my house? You got police coming to my house? Oh no, baby. A red flag should go off when you got to tell a woman not to go to the hospital. If I gotta put hands on somebody. So did he put hands on her? Well, she got a head injury or something like that from what I heard. He twisted her arm, according to her. He told her not to go to the ER or something like that with a head injury. No, we definitely not doing that. I am the next Thanos. I'm the next Thanos. See, I'm just speaking from a broke man's perspective, Told me I gotta have 100% and whatever she has. No DV, no DV, no popo, no nothing. You raising your voice or you calling the cops, you gotta get up out of here. Go try that with somebody that's more on your that likes to do that. Anyway, let's bring on the next caller. Mr. Boycott Activity. You got to unmute the mic. How you doing this evening?
What's going on? Hey, what's going on, man? I'm a little disappointed in the reaction, but I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people know, he's basically charged for pushing away from her. The whole thing of him putting her in the car and he kind of explained it. This is what's coming out of the case. He explained that we in the middle of traffic and I'm trying to get out, I'm trying to get away. So, I tried to get her in the car as best as possible. She wouldn't listen. So, the issue is it didn't come from her. It wasn't even her charging him. It was the DA that made it a case. right?
Of course, the DA has to make it a case for sure.
Right. Yeah. Now I understand that, but you got people like Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin beat Diane. Well, okay. He was arrested for DVing Diane Lane back in 2004. He eventually became Thanos. Right. So why, it's weird. It's like, why don't you press for a case against Josh Brolin?
Again, Josh Brolin's father is a famous actor, and he's already in the business since he was a child, so he's got connections too. And then he's also, but go ahead though. Yeah.
But I understand that, but it just is. It's the reaction more than anything, because these cases are bigger in public than they are in the courtroom a lot of times.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of the issue I have with it now. The text messages were very suspicious, but text messages are weird. It's just like the Tory case. Tory apologized. That was like the smoking gun, that he apologized for what happened. But he didn't explain. He didn't say, I apologize for shooting in the foot. He said, I apologize, because it's so many things to apologize for. He was dating her and her friend. He could apologize for that. That kind of started the whole problem. So, somebody was talking about it. It was like, you know how many times I see regular people push away from their spouse, argue. The charge is so small. It's like almost less than a misdemeanor. So,
it's misdemeanors, for sure.
Yeah, it's just weird. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the first time that happened?
Shoot, if I have to say bro, those text messages don't sound right. Now he's like a self-deprecating person. So when you're a self-deprecating person, you can call yourself a monster for the smallest things. You know what I mean? He might just have those mental issues. Who knows what happened to him in his childhood that makes him feel a certain way. He could have been teased or whatever. So and then you see women mad because he's dating Megan Good. Like 95% of those women who say don't come back to black women when you get in trouble would have still dated him because he's rich. And that's the point. That's the end of the sentence. A man with money, fame, notoriety is going to get women more than the rest of us. That's the end of that. So I don't know why people have a problem with that.
Right.
But it's a tiny charge and a tiny conviction based on what he did.
You think he would have got convicted if she didn't testify or cooperated?
No, I don't think so. But the issue is, you have a perjury. You have an issue with going. You can still be perjured if you don't testify. It depends, right? So that's hard. And then what your lawyer is telling you sometimes is you may not testify, and then they might charge you because both of them were arrested for abuse, right? Both of them were arrested for DV. So that it could turn around and be like, oh, well, she was abusive. Not saying Jonathan Majors would have done that or pursued that.
Right.
But in those cases, sometimes you have to do it. Like what we're not realizing is the DA is pushing a lot of these cases, these high-profile cases.
Of course.
Us.
Yeah.
So even with the Keke Palmer thing, it's going to be a situation where the reason why she's doing this is because the state is going to cause an issue with, what's the word? It's child custody, right? Mm-hmm. It's not up to us. It's kind of up to the state. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, he's not OJ, not at all.
Yeah, no, I said that at the beginning. Even though if the witness, or the actual the witness or the victim in the case chooses not to testify, the prosecutor or DA can always move forward, especially in a CDV case. You know what I mean? I get that. That's a given. But I don't know, whatever statement she gave when it initially happened, whether perjury, whether they would have pursued that, and in lieu of spending all this money pursuing her for perjury because she chose not to testify or whatever have you, would have been worth it, I guess. But like from what I've heard, this DA, and I think this DA is black, if I'm not mistaken. He's a black male. They said it was a similar case in the past where I think it was like a celebrity that he brought charges up on, and it turned out to be false, and the charges were dropped or something like that in the past. So obviously there's an axe to grind, especially with high profile cases. Hence any on either side, whether it be prosecutor or the defense, tends to want to pick those things up to get the dub or to get notoriety and things like that. Even though on the defendant side, the defense attorney side, if you take that L, it's not really a good look, a lot of times, unless you're already established. But I just think that in this case, it didn't help with, those text messages, her testifying, these recorded conversations that were provided in this situation, were for a reason. So I don't know whatever have you. It just seems like too coincidental. Okay, I got these text messages. I'm providing them to law enforcement to build a case on this guy, and I'm testifying in this situation. The purpose of this video at the end of the day is just for men who are in these situations that feel like they have to twist a woman's arm or pressurize her to be something. And in the meanwhile, while they're doing that, it becomes a volatile situation. And you got so much to lose, even for a regular dude. You know what I'm saying? Like you can lose your freedom, your job, whatever have you, just over some foolishness of trying to get a woman to be something that you want her to be. And it's not really worth it, especially when you're at that level. But that's just my thoughts,
I don't know where he got Coretta Scott King from. That was mad wild, bro. Like, he came out of nowhere with that.
Yeah, like they said, I guess he puts himself in that position of a Barack Obama or Martin Luther King on that level for him to say something like that,
I guess the issue is like America is not a country that's about like truth and justice.
Yeah, justice. Yeah,
it's really about narratives. That's all that really matters in America. So if you're talking about, and I'm not saying this is like for everybody, but you have as a man, you have a society against you, right? Socially, you have society against you. Then you have a legal system against you. Then you have the women in your life, right? Who, for the most part, are going to be feminists, right? So usually, if you don't want to fight, how do you avoid it? You walk away, and that's what a lot of these so-called movements is coming from.
Right.
They don't want the fight no more because it's not a winning battle.
Right.
And men count the cost. I don't care what nobody else say or nobody else. Men count the cost before they go into a commitment. So I don't know how that applies to anybody else in the chat. But,
right. Understood, man. Anything else?
Do you think it has anything to do with the race of the woman?
I think that's a certain part to it, because I'm not going to completely deny in anything like the young lady said earlier. The first thing you ask is what was the race, and that was like one of the first things when this happened. What was the race? It was speculation initially what the race of his girlfriend was. You know what I'm saying? Even though a lot of people were saying it was white till it was confirmed. But I do think that plays a certain part to it. But as I say, there has to be some sort of self-agency and accountability for men when it comes to things, which again is what I was saying about this video. Is a lot of these issues can be, resolved or mitigated by a man just not, as you said before, just walk away or just not even deal with it. But I think a lot of times men become so attached, or fear of loss, or fear of a scarcity mindset, that I don't want to lose this woman even though I'm having these issues with her. When in the long run, I guess if he could go back You know, I'm pretty sure he would do things different when we look at things in hindsight. But I'm at the point where I just can't tolerate it, man. I just cannot tolerate, you know, all the arguing and bickering and trying to get you on my sheet out. You should have an initial talk with someone and be like, hey, this is where I'm going at in life. You know what I'm saying? This is what if you want to be my woman, if you want to be my lady, you know, these are my expectations. That's with any relationship. You're going to tell somebody what your expectations are about someone, especially if you're in a committed relationship. And if they can't get with that after a certain amount of time, then you're just gonna have to separate yourself from the situation if you love yourself and you love the position, or, you know, otherwise you're gonna be trying to fight this person and deal with your own stuff trying to elevate. So yeah, bro, it's more peaceful and it's better to be alone than to have baggage that you're dealing with. And the signs are there, and I think a lot of brothers do need a man that's solid to tell them that. That, hey man, you don't have to put up with this, bro. You're gonna end up in jail. You're gonna end up losing everything, man. You know what I'm saying? Just to say I've exerted some power or some force, or I told her, and she's still fighting you. She's hesitant to embrace it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I shouldn't have to convince you that I'm the man, or that I'm a high value man, or whatever it was that he said. I'm a very important man. On that audio I was playing, I'm a very important man, and you need to do this.
You know, as before I go, I gotta quote a great man. A great man once said, "If Jesus can't save these women, what makes you think you can? What makes you better than Jesus, nigga?"
Is that the minister? You shout out to the minister.
I just want to say that. No offense to nobody in the chat, but yeah, hey man, I appreciate it, bro.
Hey, good looking, man. Have a good night.
Good night.
Shout out to the minister. The quote he was referring to was Minister Jap Hussein. Shout out to the minister. Say if Jesus can't save him. But that's what this whole video is about, guys. This whole thing is about. No one should be in a unhappy relationship, and if somebody's bringing drama to you, how happy are you at the end of the day? You know, whether he got railroaded, you can't 100% prevent things, but you can definitely mitigate those things, and I think all you guys know that. You know, what we used to call in the Army, you have a risk assessment before you do any activity. You have a risk assessment. You know what I'm saying? You conduct a risk assessment, and you rate, for all you people that like to rate your days and you like to rate people and rate women. Well, when I say rate, and this is for YouTube that's listening, that means RATE, 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 rate. You need to do a risk assessment. Be like, hey, this woman sasses me. She talks back. You know what I'm saying? She's constantly asking me who I'm dealing with. She's trying to go through my phone. She calls me 30 times a day. Is this something that I want to put up with or not? I'm feeling like I want to put hands on her. I'm losing my temper. Okay, these are all these things. What's positive about her? Okay, there's good sex here. You know, the Lewinsky's powerful. You know what I'm saying? She can cook a little bit, but other than that, I mean, the bad outweighs the good in this point. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really peaceful. I never know. I never know when she will go off the deep end and just start yelling. You know, so if you're a great man, you don't need to be this. It's just gonna come. You know what I'm saying? We don't have time to be trying to make you into that. Go run through the pookies and you get your experience up. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, right now I'm already here. My trajectory is here. You know, I don't have to have the weights holding me down. You know what I'm saying? You lose your mind. You get into that feminine energy and decide to spaz out and all this stuff. Assault can be a lot of things. Just touching somebody is considered assault. Spitting on somebody is assault. Grabbing someone is assault. You know. I don't know, man. I need to get off this chat, man. It's unfortunate for the young man. So I guess on till sentencing. Where we at with this? Because I'm about to get up out of here. 120 likes. That's good enough for me, huh? Well, stop thinking with their jewel, I guess. Well, if there's nothing else, man, I'm about to get up out of here, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate everybody who called in with their input on this topic. You know, men, you have to be strategic in your thought process. You have to be strategic in your selection of women. You have to be strategic on who you choose to sleep with and give your seed to. And you have to be strategic on how you just talk to women. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to yell at women. You don't need to argue with women. You don't need to do any of that. You know, you must love in such a way that the person you love feels free. You say how you feel about things, and that's that. Baby, this is how I'm living my life. Do you want to join the adventure? Or you can go play on somebody else's game. You know what I'm saying? I'm the author and editor of this story, not you. You know. You can be you can be on the supporting cast, but you see how things are going right now. And I can't let you do that. Can't let you jeopardize that, man. It's 10 o'clock, man. I haven't even recorded nothing for tomorrow. I don't even feel like recording nothing now, but I might just have to jump on here and record some stuff. Sheesh. Anyway, guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you have an issue with the ladies, click the link in the description of this video. Book a one-on-one with yours truly. Ladies, if you having an issue with the fellas and you just don't know what to do, click the link in the description below. I got you. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for some advice from a man's perspective. You know what I mean? I got you. If you're looking to start a YouTube channel, you're looking to get your channel audited, don't know what to do, click the link below. If you guys haven't purchased any of my books yet, click the link below. If you guys haven't purchased any of my t-shirts, sweaters, let me get that out so you guys can see it. Oh, I'm like, you guys haven't, hey, click below, man. You know what I'm saying? Buy, purchase a product or t-shirt, man. I don't need a super chat or none of that. Share the video. If you don't, just at least share the video. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing, man. You know what I mean? And we're probably gonna be back here tomorrow night. I think definitely Thursday night live, same place, same time, just about. I mean, yeah. You guys have a good one, man. I'm out here. Peace.